Well, the S&P 500 is an American institution. It's 500 of the largest companies in America, and it's a list that was made by Standard & Poor's, which is a company, did this many years ago, and the company did that in order to assess the overall American stock market. So when you take the stock performance of those 500 companies drawn from diverse industries as an aggregate, you say that's about how the American stock market did last year. So if last year the market went up 10%, you'd say that on average those companies all went up 10%, and we use those companies as our benchmark. So at the Motley Fool, we use the S&P 500 all the time as our measure, my measure, your measure of whether you beat the market or not with your own investment portfolio. So again, if the S&P 500 was up 10% last year, we think you should be up at least 10% last year to give yourself a pat on the back as an investor.
Why should investors care about the S&P 500?
I think investors should care about the S&P 500 because it's the easiest, quickest way to measure the performance of the American stock market. You can use that measure to contrast with other stock markets. You could look at the FTSE in London to see how the British stocks have done. Or you could look at the Hang Seng in the Far East and see how those companies have done. You can take each market, look for that benchmark index, and assess them all against each other. It is worth noting, by the way, there are a couple other measures that people routinely use here in the U.S. The Dow Jones Industrials, still most nights on network news, that's what they use to assess how the American stock market did. I like the 500 more than just those 30. And then there's the Wilshire 5000. Some people take that list and they blow it out to 5,000 companies, including many small companies, and they say that's a better assessment. So, know thy index.